What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight at 147 pounds between Delonte Tiger Johnson and Kendo Tremendo Castaneda. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit the subscribe button? Plus, like this video, and also be sure to hit the bell notification button so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. Thank you. This boxing wave keeps on rolling. Another week of great fights. This weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada, we have the rematch between Meyer and Sandy Ryan, but you also have on that card a world title fight between Brian Norman Jr. and Cuevas, and all week I'm going to be going over that main event. There's 5 fights, starting with the fight feature today between Tiger Johnson and Kendo Castaneda. In this video, I'm going to remind everybody who these guys are. We're going to talk about their most recent resumes, what they do well, what they've been up to, pros and cons going into the fight. We're going to talk about, as always, the betting odds, and stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to give you my prediction and tell you where to put your money to make the most of it. Let's get started. Guys, it seems like forever ago, maybe a decade or so, where Kendo Tremendo was an up-and-coming prospect. At 31 years old, he's still not over the hill, but in boxing, you see this all the time. Sometimes guys don't quite develop the way some people say they were supposed to, and for whatever reason, with Castaneda, this is a kid who started his career 17-0 with a lot of hype on him, a shiny undefeated record, but since then he's dropped 8 fights out of his last 12, and he's looking to get back on track after having lost 2 consecutively. With Tiger Johnson, this is a kid from Northeast Ohio, as am I, Youngstown in the house. Tiger's from Cleveland. I love featuring Ohio fighters, specifically from Northeast Ohio. And we know that he was an Olympian. We know that he turned pro in 2021, which seems like yesterday. It's wild to think that that's 4 years ago. He is undefeated. He does a lot of things really well. And like a lot of Olympians who come through that American system, they box well technically. They have a good ring IQ. They use the entire ring, and they know how to get victories. They know how to win fights. So in this matchup, you're going to have your classic litmus test. You're going to see a guy in Castaneda who's going to have double the pro rounds experience than his opponent. You're going to see a guy who's fought for the last decade versus a younger guy only by 5 years. Tiger's 26, Castaneda's 31, but that pro experience matters. And with Tiger, his team and himself, he's going to be able to use Castaneda as a measuring tool, as a measuring stick. How deep is the water? Where am I in my development? There's so much hype on Tiger. People talking about he's the next big thing coming out of the 2020 class. And with another win, another electrifying knockout in a new division, only time will tell to see how high his star will rise. Right now, I want to talk a little bit about this matchup and what to expect this weekend. Guys, we already know that this fight is taking place on the undercard of Meyer versus Ryan 2, as well as the Brian Norman Jr. fight. Tiger Johnson, who was scheduled to face Keyshawn Toller in a canceled bout on the Baranchik versus Davis undercard on February 14th in New York, will fight Kendo Tremendo Castaneda. The contest is scheduled for 8 rounds at welterweight. This will be Johnson's first fight at 147 pounds. The 26-year-old's 14-0 with 6 knockouts. He resides in Cleveland, Ohio, and earned his 3rd win of the year last September, scoring a unanimous decision against the tough and gritty seasoned veteran Yomar Alamo. 31-year-old Castaneda, who's 21-8 with 9 knockouts, lost his 2nd fight in a row by unanimous decision against Kenneth Sims Jr. on February 15th on the Duarte versus Medueno undercard in Anaheim, California. So right now, guys, I want to take a closer look at Castaneda and see what he's been up to throughout his career. Guys, Kendo Castaneda has a career record of 21-8 with 9 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 43% career knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked worldwide at 140 pounds. He sits at 341. The American's 31 years old, and the Orthodox fighter stands at 5'10" with a 67-inch reach. We last saw him fight Kenneth Sims Jr., who was 21-2. He lost to UD in the 10th. Elvis Rodriguez was 16-1. He lost another decision in the 10th. Cameron Crail, 20-32, UD in the 8th. Jared Tennant, 8-2, UD in the 8th. Antonio Moran, 28-5. He lost via stoppage in the 10th. So like I said, this is a guy in Castaneda at 31 years old, a decade into the pro game, started off his career 17-0. He's going to have the ring experience, and like I always say with these veterans, in terms of when they get to the stage of their career, if they're not undefeated and they're not fighting for world titles, you have to kind of question and see where their headspace is, see where their psychology is in terms of how welcoming are they to take on the role of gatekeeper or take on the role of measuring stick. And those aren't derogatory terms. Those are just facts and stages within one's boxing career. You'll hear guys all the time who are in the mid to later parts of the career who use the word gatekeeper as a positive. So when I say that, I'm not talking down on Castaneda, but he's fighting an undefeated former Olympian, 14-0 with 6 knockouts, in Tiger, who has a lot of hype on him. So this fight was put together exactly because of this, because of Castaneda's career thus far, where it's at, and where Tiger is in his career. Let's take a closer look at Tiger Johnson's resume. Guys, Delonte Johnson's 14-0 with 6 knockouts. He carries into the ring a 43% career knockout to win ratio, and he's currently ranked at 140 pounds, number 40 in the world. And the 26-year-old American is an orthodox fighter standing at 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. We last saw him fight Yomar Alamo, 22-2, UD in the 8th. Zaina, 13-1, UD in the 8th. Paulo Galdino, 13-7, TKO in the 1st. Espinoza, 15-1, split decision in the 8th. Quiros, 13-2, majority decision in the 8th. So with Tiger Johnson, the managing of his career has been proper so far. He doesn't knock everybody out, and he isn't really whitewashing everybody. He's won a few close decisions, a split decision here and there, against guys that some people were saying that would have been a great test in terms of Alamo. Now, when we use terms like step up, we could say that because literally Tiger's never fought a 47, so he is stepping up in that regards. And when you look at his last few opponents, none of them come close in terms of career rounds and pro experience than Castaneda. When we look at how these guys match up, both of them kind of cancel each other out with the height. Tiger's 5'11", Castaneda's 5'10". Tiger will have a little bit longer of a reach. We talk about that experience in pro rounds. This is where Castaneda will have the advantage. You think psychologically as well, he has to be thinking about that. I'm going to press this younger fighter. I'm going to make him uncomfortable, and I'm going to lean in on my ring experience to put him in situations that he feels uncomfortable. And I'm sure Castaneda is banking on Tiger to make a mistake. Now, with Johnson at 26 years old, he's on the rise. He doesn't know how to lose. He has that Olympic pedigree, and he feels with another big win, he's just going to keep moving up on that main card, eventually getting to a main card feature in the next few years. As of right now, the betting app that I use down here in Australia, Sportsbet, isn't even allowing us to bet on this fight. Usually the undercard fighters will show up maybe a day or two before the main event. So as we get later on to the week, it's only Monday afternoon here in Sydney. If those odds do open up and I put this bet on my parlay, I'll put it in the community notes. But right now, the American bettors, he's at a 9-1 favorite. So Tiger Johnson's 9-1. Castaneda's a 9-1 dog, meaning $100 on Tiger gets you $4 back. $100 on Castaneda to just win on the money line gets you $900 back. My prediction for this fight, I expect Tiger Johnson to be tested. This is only an 8-round fight, so these rounds are going to fly by. I think Tiger Johnson's going to rely on his speed, reflexes, and skill set to steal some rounds, and I think Castaneda is going to be there to get hit. I expect Tiger to use the ring, use his jab, put Castaneda in positions to keep getting touched, and use his overly aggressive nature against him. I'm predicting Tiger Johnson to win this fight by decision. In the comment section below, you don't have to agree with me. How do you see this one going? The 26-year-old prospect in Tiger or the 31-year-old veteran in Kendo Tremendo? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, stay tuned to the channel because we got a bunch of fights from this card that we're going to be featuring. Also, if you haven't seen my breakdown of the winners from last night's event in Las Vegas, which was headlined by Sebastian Fundora and Cordell Booker, stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now.